Okay, good morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss the topic of collection framework in Java. The collection framework will help to you a lot in when you are doing with the backend logics and all. Why? Because collection frameworks all will be depends on a interfaces, predefined interfaces, and reduces your logics to implement a updation onto a list of elements or deletion and replacing the elements. That's all, right? First, we'll discuss some introduction related to the what are the collections and what we have. In that, we are discussing list interface today, right? The first will be the framework is nothing but a suppose you have a some predefined. Okay, first will be the collection framework. Collections framework. In this, we have the two things under the collection framework. Collection framework, we have the two things. One was collection collection. Another one was map. Okay, collection is different, map is different. Inside the collection we have the normal collection framework have the two types. One was the collection, one was the map. Collection have the types also. Again, in this we have the list, set, map, sorry, stack, also queues is there. Queue. Stack is also comes under the list only. Okay, stack is also comes under the list only, right? In the list also we have the types. In the list also we have the things, vector, array list, and stack, also linked list. First we have the arrays, right? In normal we have the arrays, but why we are moved to these collections? Because of normally if you observe the thing, normally how can you declare an array? Suppose if you want to add an element to the array, how can you do that? Suppose I want to declare an array, I can mention like a int of or else int arr is my array. Suppose, okay, int arr equals to, here you have to mention the size, how much you are storing or how many elements you are storing. That is dynamically you have to mention. If you are not mentioning in a dynamically, it will allocate a lot of space, right? But but here also you can mention the only the similar type of elements has to store, right? What are the major drawbacks you are getting from the arrays is, first thing, you have to declare the number of elements you are storing, right? It is the thing. The problems you are getting is declaring the size. It is a static. Suppose you are know the how many elements you are storing. Based on that you are declaring one size to the array. Based on that you can append the elements, right? Or you can store the elements and delete the elements. But suppose if I am declaring the array for the 10 size, declaring array for the size of 10 elements, right? Declaring the 10 size, but I am storing only 5 elements. Remaining all space will be the waste, right? Suppose I have the declared the 10 size, but my I I have to add some more of 15 or 20. Then it will also the issue, right? Then you have to modify the size. These all issues can be rectified by the collection. Collection framework dynamically allocates the memory. Depends on your elements count. Depends on your element count, right? And second thing, when you are declaring an array, you have to mention the type of data you are storing, right? Data you are storing, right? Suppose if you are declaring a array with a integer type, you are only allowed to store integer elements in the array, right? Suppose I have to store the integer elements, float elements and the strings also in a same container, then it will be also the issue, right? For that, collection will help you. You can store the different data types in a single unit, or also you can store the or else you can store the it in a similar thing also. It will work like a both, right? And first we'll discuss the vector and array list. If you observe normally in any framework or any collection, what are the operations you can perform? First thing will be the creation, right? Creation. Second thing will be the adding elements. Suppose update or adding elements. Second thing will be the updation of the elements, right? Third thing will be the retrieve the elements. What are the elements in my construction or my collection framework? I have to retrieve the elements, right? I have to retrieve the elements and delete. These are the major operations you can perform, right? One will be the creation, how to create that collection, adding an elements to the construction, that means collection, and update the elements in the collection, and deleting and retrieving. How can I retrieve, right? These will be the things. First we are discussing with the vector. Both will be the all are the same functionalities. All array list, vector and linked list all have the same functionality. Okay, here, first vectors and ArrayList. ArrayList is like simply like a array only. First we'll see normally these all are under list, right? There is a hierarchy here. These all are the interfaces collection of classes. Observe that interfaces collection of classes. Right. Suppose you have the list as a interface. List is interface. For this list interface, it was implemented by the iterable or collection. This iterable is a collection, and this list contain the classes of array list. Okay, first one array list, vector. One is the vector, other one will be the linked list. Okay, other one will be the linked list, and stack is also expanded by array list only. From this list interface, you are getting the array list, and also you are getting the vectors, and also you are getting the linked list. Okay, vector and linked list. Okay, vector and linked list, this all, and stack is also expanded from the array list only. Okay, iterable is the collection. What is the main interface you have? Okay, first we will see the way of creation. First we can check with the vectors. Vectors and array list both are the same only, but the difference will be the vectors is the word a collection of a vector or an array. First we'll see the how can we create, how many types you can create an vector. How can we create, how many types you can create an vector. Right. First way of creation. Creation. One way of creation. Way of creation. One way. One way of creation is a interface you can create. List. Okay, list. Suppose my list will be the v1. Okay, equals to new vector. మేడం క్లాస్ తీసుకుంటున్నా క్లాసికల్ రైట్. Okay, it is one way of creation. It is one way of creation by using the list interface. These all interfaces are under the package of java.util. Simply I have to place like a list. Suppose for the vector I have to place like a vector after the util.char. Suppose if I place star here, then all will be the coming because of that. For a while we'll go with this util dot vector. Okay, util dot vector, right? Util dot vector. Normally the syntax of declaration is for this type. For this type, normally the syntax of declaration is list type. That means a type of data you are storing. Type of data you are storing L1. That means object reference. New. That means creating the object of a vector. Here you can allocate the type, or else you are not. It will be fine for anything. If you are not mentioning the type, by default it will take the object. Okay, if you are not mentioning the type, by default it will take the object. Suppose here I am not mentioning any type, it is one way of creation. Okay, now I can try to add. Normally how can we add an element to the vector is v1 dot object name dot add of suppose 12. Okay, here I can print that what it is, v1. Here I can print that v1. Okay, 12. Suppose if I try to add the data type, different data type, v1 dot add of 11. Okay, now I'll try to check it. It stores the integer and the string also. It is possible to the array? No, right? Right. Also we have to fix the size for the array. Right? Suppose you want to, your intent to only store the integer type of elements. You have to store, or your intent to store only the integer type of elements. Then integer, we are calling it as a wrapper classes. In before of the classes, maybe they said or not, I don't know. We are Java is not a complete object oriented programming language because of it has the primitive data types that will overcome by using the wrapper classes of integer. Okay, character for the integer, for the character character. Okay, new vector of By this it will takes only the integer type of elements. Because of that we are getting the error here. We'll try to store the string in the integer list. Okay, by using collections you can store the different data types as a single unit, or else you can store the similar data type in a single unit. Both will fine. Okay, right. It is the v1 dot add. Suppose I hope you understand the type declaration way and without type declaration way. If you are declaring the type, it will taking as a second way of creation. In that, suppose you want to create the vector. Okay, vector v2 equals to new vector of, it is capital V. It is another way. Here also the same. If you want to mention the type, you can. You are not intent to mention the type, you are not. Suppose here you can simply place the object as a type also. Then also the same. If you are not mentioning any type, or you can mention the object, then also you can store the different data types in a one unit. Okay, right. This is the second way of creation by using the object, by using the class name itself, or by using the interface of the implement. Suppose if you check here this vector, right, control click, place the cursor on it, control click, it will redirect to some page. I'll go to the top, right. If you observe the what are the methods of related to the adding elements to the collection of a vector. First one is, okay, it is another one. Hmm, hmm, hmm. It is the first one, I think. Okay, it will again goes to that. So okay, public void add of. Here you can pass the index and the element. Okay, index and the element. Suppose you are intent to store in a particular index, then you can pass the index and the value also, or else you have to add the one collection to the another collection, then also you can do that, or else uh, you can pass only the single element. Two different ways, right? v1 dot add of, it is one method of adding. Okay, second one, v1 dot add of, these are all the all related add methods. Add of integer e, add of int index comma integer e, add all of index comma collection. Suppose if I don't have the more data, right, I'll do one thing. Okay, 15, I'll store the 15. Okay, now if I print the v1, then my vector contains 12 and 15. 12 at the 0th index, 15 at the 1 index, right? 1 index. 12 at the 0th index, 15 at the 1 index. Suppose my intent is I can store the another variable v1 at the 0th index. At the 0th index, the element will be the 51. Okay. Now this is the way. If you want to indent at a particular position, you have to insert a element. Then you can mention the index and the value, which value you have to place, right? These collection frameworks all are the based on a pre-built methods of add, remove all, add all, like that, right? This is another one. Suppose if you want to add v2. uh, v2 doesn't contain anything, right? I'll do one thing. v2 dot add of v2 dot add of v1. Okay. uh, v2 dot add of v1. It will throws an error. Why? Because v1 is one object. This type of all the elements, that means collection type of elements, you have to store in the another collection. Then you have to use add all. I think here it is a. Okay, add all. Then I can print the v2. The same way this out. v2 colon plus v2. Okay, now I'll check it. v1 v2, right? Suppose uh, hmm, right, what happens? These 51, 12, 15 happens at the last. Like way, suppose you are intent to add these elements at the front, not at the back.